Hello once again, Anthony Benici here with Brain Blinkers Bullet Point. I was in this car only yesterday driving in the Sydney rain, the deluge that we had yesterday, and it was hopeless traffic, really hopeless traffic, but we got a little bit of speed up and watching a guy on the inside lane who, of course, you get that sixth sense where you can see them coming over, but not quite, and then all of a sudden they just make the dive, and he was right on my nose, and I jammed on the brakes, hit the horn as it's like, whoa, and he just kept coming. But that adrenal rush that happens is quite amazing. And it's the fight and flight instinct. We've talked about this, and we're on the topic of fear. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how different people manifest fear, or this adrenal function. So as soon as adrenaline is sent from the adrenal glands at the back of the kidneys by a message from the head saying, hey, you're in danger, you need to do something, that message goes to the back of the kidneys, to the adrenal glands, spurts out this tiny amount of adrenaline into the blood, enough to cause a series of things. And what happens is, with many different people, many different effects, but generally sweating, heart rate increase immediately, we start to shake, our muscles get tense, we feel anxious, we lose our train of thought. And they're all very good reasons for this, because the brain is basically telling the body, do not think anymore, just act. So it's cutting out the prefrontal cortex, cutting out the thinking brain, and asking the body to react without thought. And that's why when we're really, really nervous, we lose train of what we're thinking. We can't think straight, or we feel like we've lost it, completely. And that's why people who speak in front of audiences who really get the fear response, tend to freeze and just don't know what to say. I've watched it a number of times, and I've experienced it very early on in my career a number of times too. And we shake because the body is preferentially moving blood away from the head and the torso to the extremities so that you can fight or flight. So that's the shaking, the butterflies in the tummy, all of those sort of things. So they're the different ways that fear manifests in terms of symptoms. Recognizing them is one thing. Doing something about it is a completely different thing, and we'll talk about more about that. We'll talk about that later in another section. So great to speak to you again, and I look forward to catching up again next time.